Good morning, 5th grade. We are ready for math lesson 141. This morning we are going to start with going over our temperatures and our formulas for changing from Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly, so try to answer right away and then I will show you the answer. Let's get started. First of all, what is the temperature of the freezing point of water Fahrenheit? 32 degrees. Boiling point of water Fahrenheit. 212 degrees. Normal body temperature Fahrenheit. 98.6 degrees. Boiling point of water Celsius. 100 degrees. Freezing point of water Celsius. 0 degrees. Normal body temperature Celsius, 37 degrees. Let's turn these around. What is the formula for converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit? F equals 9/5 times C plus 32. Formula for converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius. C equals 5/9 times, in parentheses, F minus 32. Very good. I have a couple more story problems for you again this morning, so listen closely. One bag of candy costs 89 cents. 25 bags cost... Okay, sorry, let me back up. I went into this too quickly. So you need to decide, in the story problem that I give you, you need to decide if it is reasonable or unreasonable. Okay, so would it make sense for it to be that way, or is that just completely unreasonable? Okay, here we go again. One bag of candy costs 89 cents. 25 bags cost $30. Reasonable or unreasonable? Now that is unreasonable because one bag costs less than $1, so 25 bags should cost less than $25. Another one. The perimeter of a rectangle is 30 feet. One side is 15 feet. Reasonable or unreasonable? That is unreasonable since two sides would take the entire 30 feet. The other sides could measure nothing. That is unreasonable. One more. The outside temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. That is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. That is unreasonable since 32 degrees Fahrenheit equals 0 degrees Celsius. Unreasonable. Okay. Converting measures to find perimeter. Lesson 141. So first of all, this morning, let's say a basketball player might be 6 feet 10 inches tall. Let's just write that down on the board here. We have a basketball player who is 6 feet 10 inches tall. Now, to express his height using just feet, we would write 10 over 12. We would write 6 feet, and then for the inches part we would write 10 over 12 because there are 12 inches in a foot. We would have to reduce 10 over 12 to 5 over 6. So our answer here, how tall he would be in feet would be 6 and 5/6 feet. Let me just go over that again. So if we have a player who is 6 feet 10 inches, to show this as feet, we just make it a fraction because this is a fraction of a foot, so 10 over 12, and then that equals 6 and 5/6. Now, if we want to express his height in inches, we would have to multiply 6 feet by 12. That would give us how many inches 6 feet is, of course. So 6 times 12 is 72 inches, and then plus the 10 inches right here. So 72 plus 10 equals 82 inches. Okay? So to express his height in inches, change feet to inches by multiplying by 12, and then adding the other inches we already had. Okay, so he would be 82 inches, or he would be 6 5/6 feet tall. Okay, so also before we find the perimeter of a rectangle, like we have been doing recently, we have to convert to the same unit. Okay, so that was just an example of something if maybe we're talking about how tall someone is. But now we're going to get into an example of when we are finding the perimeter of a rectangle. So first of all, what is the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle? You remember from yesterday, or the day before, P equals 2 times length, 2 times L, 2 times length, plus 2 times W for width, okay? So here is our rectangle. Our length is 12 yards and 2 feet. Our width is 7 yards. Now to find the perimeter of this rectangle, we must make our units the same. So let's first change feet to yards here. How many feet are in a yard? There are 3, okay? So 2 feet is how much of a yard? And remember, since that's not even a whole yard, we're going to make it a fraction. So we have 12 yards and 2/3 yards, okay? So 12 yards and 2 feet would be 2/3 of a yard. So now we have perimeter equals 2 times, now our length is 12 2/3 yards, okay? 12 2/3, so 2 times 12 2/3 plus 2 times, our width is 7. We don't have to change anything there, it's just 7 yards. So plus 2 times 7. Now we need to multiply. We do what's in the parentheses first, and then we will add. So we have P equals 2 times 12 2/3. So we need to multiply that. 12 2/3. We would need to change this to an improper fraction first of all, before we multiply. So it would be 38 over 3. So we have 2 over 1 times 38 over 3. Okay, so we have 38 times 2, 8 times 2 is 16, 3 times 2 plus 1 is 7, so we have 76 over 3. Okay, let's make this a mixed number. So we have, that would be 25 1/3, I believe. 25 1/3, okay? So P equals 25 1/3 plus, what's 2 times 7? That would be 14, okay? So now we need to add these together. 25 1/3 plus 14. That would be 39 1/3. So our answer here is 39 1/3 for the perimeter of this rectangle in yards, all right? So we had 12 yards, 2 feet, and 7 yards. We changed this to 2/3 yard, and the perimeter in yards is 31 1/3 yards. Let's try finding the perimeter of the rectangle, changing everything to feet, okay? So we have to have like units first of all before we start. So let's change 12 yards to feet. How many feet would be 12 yards? Would 12 yards be? That would be 36 feet. How many feet would 7 yards be? That would be 21 feet. Okay, so now we have our numbers here. We have 36 and 2 feet. We may as well add these together here because 36 feet and 2 feet. So the length is 38 feet. The width is 21 feet. So now we have P equals 2 times 38 plus 2 times 21. Alright, now we can multiply, do what's in parentheses first, and then we will add them together. So we have 38 times 2, 8 times 2 is 16, 3 times 2 plus 1 is 7, so we have P equals 76, plus 2 times 21 is 42. Okay, so now we have 76 plus 42, add that together. 6 plus 2 is 8, 7 plus 2 is 11. So P equals 118, and what is our unit? Our unit is feet this time. So the perimeter of our rectangle in feet is 118 feet. So before you can find the perimeter of your rectangle, you must make the units the same, whether you're changing to yards, changing to feet, larger or smaller, whatever you might be doing. Let's go over how to find the perimeter of a square. P equals S times 4. Now remember, the reason this is our formula is because a square has 4 sides, all of the sides are the same length. Our square here is 5 2/3 feet on one side. So we give P equals 5 2/3 times 4. Now we need to multiply. 5 2/3 times 4, let's make this an improper fraction. 17 over 3 times 4 over 1. Now we have 17 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. 4 times 1 plus 2 is 6. So 68 over 3. And now we need to make that a mixed number. 68 over 3, a mixed number, that would be 22 2/3, okay? So we know the perimeter of our square is 22 2/3 feet, okay? 22 2/3 feet. We did not have to change any units there, we only had one, so we could just do our multiplication. Okay, let's go over one more thing here. 44 is how many times $2? $44 is how many times $2. How do we find out how many times something is than something else? Now to do this, we're going to take our larger unit and divide it by our smaller one. 44 divided by 2 is what? 22. So $44 is 22 times as large as $2, okay? Now if we'd be finding what part something is of something else, if it would say, what part is 2 of, if we would have, what part is $2 of $8, that's when we would go 2 over 8 because it's just a fraction, and then that would be 1/4. But when we're saying how many times is something and something else, take our larger and go our larger number divided by our smaller number. And in this case, it is 22 times as large. In your lesson today, you're working with a lot of perimeters. Use your formula. Make sure you change your unit to the same thing before you find your perimeter. Work your lesson carefully. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'll see you in language class.